Hi, guys, and welcome to another episode of Where is My Masculinity? Today, I am chilling with Kategani, aka the founder of Yoga Dads. And that's the first question, actually. So, tell me a little bit about Yoga Dads, why you started it, and what it's about.
Okay, so Yoga Dads was basically, I think I'd consider myself more a co founder than a founder. So it was basically a group of friends that got together, I think the December before lockdown. And we had a Bri, and one of the guys there, he was a new dad, kid was about a year old. And he, like, we're having a conversation about like how tough it is being a young black father. And he basically like asked the question like, why don't we have some sort of forum where we can get together, talk about some of the challenges of being a dad, and kind of help each other work through the process of being a dad. And so off the back of that, I was like, set up a WhatsApp chat group, all the young dads that I knew. I can't remember where Yoga Dads came from. I think it was, I kept telling my cousin that I want to start doing yoga, I want to start doing yoga. And then Instagram, I'd start taking these like philosophical photos, hashtag yoga dad. And then when this thing happened, I was like, yoga dads,
sense,
let's be about it. You know, you've got soccer moms, we'll be yoga dads.
You made an interesting comment about there not being a forum for black dads, and do you why do you think that is, and is that the theme for support structures for black men in general?
So I don't know if like there isn't necessarily a place out there, we just weren't aware of it. I think it's probably got a lot to do with our comfort levels in terms of talking about stuff. Nje. Like I think we grew up. I don't want to pick up here.
The truck is just reaffirming that, we're grown now.
Yeah. Be about it. No, man. So I think that it's not necessarily that spaces don't exist. Spaces probably are there. It's just like for me personally, I think we have difficulty speaking about stuff. Like we have difficulty speaking about how we are struggling as fathers, how we're struggling as partners, how work is showing us flames. Like, you know, we getting our increases, we're getting our promotions, but the money isn't balancing. Like the relationships with our partners isn't where it's supposed to be. Like the communication has died, the fire has died, and now you throw in the challenge of being a parent as well. And it's like, I think there's like I don't know quite how to describe it, like if it's social media or just from the way we were raised, but like we're all striving towards this like picture perfect. You know, like I went to varsity, I've got a good job, I found the right partner, we got married, we've got 2.3 kids, and like we're living the dream. And it's like that's we're also concerned with projecting that out into the world, that we sort of don't take the time to actually just fall back a little bit, make sure that this is working for us, and working on developing our home and family systems and ourselves as people. So yeah, like it's one of those.
And when you look at what it probably meant to be a dad in your father's generation versus what it is now, what do you think about those discrepancies? Is it tougher now being a dad than it was for our parents' generation? What do you think?
I think it's different. I think being a parent in any generation is tough, because you are now like literally responsible for this life. Like if you're not there to look after this human being, this person, if you're not there to change diapers, if you're not there to tend to them when they're sick, if you're not there to make a sandwich for them, literally their life doesn't happen without you. So being a parent in any generation is tough. I think that, and you and I have had this conversation in the past, I think that now the mental load that comes with being a parent is different. Like we've spoken about like different aspects of life now compared to what our parents had to deal with, and it's like the volume of information that we're processing on a daily basis, the volume of choices that we're having to make on a daily basis is probably exponentially increased from what our parents had to deal with, and I think it definitely is harder because like we, like our parents, are humans still. Like we haven't seen this exponential increase in our capacity to handle and manage things, and yet like it's almost as if the mental strain that we have to deal with in today's generation, and that's just by virtue of how society is structured now, having a digital society like that I think adds a lot to the stresses and strains of being a parent.
So, as you guys have been supporting each other on the in this journey of fatherhood, and I know it's a very tough question to ask because I'm not asking you to speak on behalf of all dads in the country.
All of it.
But what are the key challenges that masculinity faces in its journey of being a father?
Man, like I think for me, the biggest challenge that I've had, like in my journey as a fatherhood and as it relates to masculinity, is just kind of like asking the question, like, what is the role of my masculinity in this whole setup? Because just kind of taking it back to like when our parents were parents, it's kind of like one of the big ways that the world has changed is that our partners, being the women in the relationship, have like our mental strain has gone up as a general society. For them, it's gone through the roof, right? Where not necessarily the case that my mom was like a stay-at-home mom, but like for the generation of our parents, for the most part, mom was stay at home, and like the expectation wasn't that mom was contributing to the family, mom was contributing to the lifestyle. If mom was working, it was like dad needed to take care of the finances. If stuff financially wasn't going okay in the house, we'd look at dad, right? Whereas now we've created the scenario where like when things aren't going okay financially in the household, there is that element of okay, you as the dad, but also looking at you as the mom. And at the same time, we haven't taken away any of mom's other responsibilities.
True.
Right? Like society still expects mom to be the homemaker, right? If someone walks in the house and the house is a mess, they look at mom, right? If there are guests in the house and the guests are hungry because no food is prepared, they look at mom. If like I'm leaving the house and my collar is dirty and my shirt's not ironed, they're looking at mom, right? And I think there was this moment where it was kind of like what I've grown up knowing about who I need to be in that situation as a parent, as a partner, as a co-parent, I think isn't adequate. And I think as it relates to our masculinity, we need to like take a step back and actually start having that conversation to say, okay, cool, we're now in this situation where you still got mom, you still got dad, but the weight in terms of who's carrying what. Like previously it was sort of balanced. Dad was the provider, mom was the homemaker. Now all of a sudden mom and dad are both provider and homemaker. That weight has like gone up drastically for mom. But dad is still sort of doing the same things, right? Like I'm going to work, I'm coming home. Yes, I'm under strain, but like the home context now needs to shift as well. And I don't know if that's going to be a case of, okay, let's maybe sit down and have a conversation, partner. Like, are we now saying that because we both have capacity to work and bring home money, are we saying we're going to both work as hard as we can and strain ourselves till we're five to dead and then take a break? Or are we saying, you know what, if we had to look at our lives on a one salary basis, right? And we both put in enough work to equate that salary and leave capacity to do other things, what would I need to be doing as a man in this situation, right? Like, do you need me to be the caretaker for the kids? Am I the one waking up in the mornings every day, getting them ready for school, doing the school runs, picking them up after school? Am I the one that's responsible for making sure that we've got food on the table when the family gets home? Am I the one that's responsible for making sure that the laundry is done, everyone's clothes are ironed, the house is clean? Like, what are we doing? And I don't think, for me personally, I know I haven't really had those sorts of conversations, and I think those are the sorts of conversations that we need to be having more of.
In what you mentioned, insofar as it being previously that if you were the dad, your role in essence as a parent and as a partner was the piece about provision. Now, if we look at where things are at with kids these days, with first of all mental wellness, bullying that's happening in schools, the difficulty of navigating one's own identity, how do you, as a modern day dad, um, navigate the journey of having to be vulnerable with yourself and therefore teaching that to your kids when you potentially might not have had that experience growing up? What you knew was a dad that just put food on the table and that's it, you know.
Yeah. So I think I